A big part of the A's youth movement is their starting staff, and rookie Jharel Cotton is one of the centerpieces. Cotton has had an up-and-down season so far in 2017. Inconsistency has been the biggest problem for the young right-hander. Jharel is coming off a quality start versus the Yankees at home that equaled a win. With 2 starts on this road trip, Cotton would love to kick things off with a solid outing in Chicago. It's the A's and the White Sox, game 1 of 3, and it starts right now. The 6-game road trip for the A's starts tonight on the south side of Chicago. It's Guaranteed Rate Field, the home of the White Sox. Jharel Cotton is looking for his 5th win of the year. It's the Oakland A's and the Chicago White Sox coming up on NBC Sports California, powered by Xfinity. Hey again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball, along with Ray Fosse. I'm Glenn Kuiper. 13th start of the year for Jharel Cotton. He's going up against a White Sox lineup that's hot right now, but Ray's also coming off a win. He pitched well against the Yankees on Sunday.
You know, the great thing about Jharel Cotton, ever since the A's have seen him, he has 3 quality pitches: a sneaky fastball, a great curveball, and a changeup. You're going to see all of these right here. Great changeup there. The thing about him, because of his changeup and curveball, his fastball seems like it's about 120, but he just needs to be a little bit more consistent. When he is, there's no way American League hitters are going to be able to have any success against him. He knows how to pitch. He has the pitches. Just keep it going. And
Cotton's battery mate tonight, Bruce Maxwell, and I think we're going to say that a lot as the season goes on. Maxwell is here. He's going to play a lot, and yesterday, pretty good start. He had a 3-hit game.
Well, that's the big news, but he needs to do the job behind the plate, which he's very capable. But watch these 3 hits. To left field, the first one. He knows how to go to the opposite field. He knows how to go up the middle, which he does here, and even later in the ball game. Talk about how good of a hitter he is. He pulls this pitch down the right field line. He scores Rajay Davis, so he knows how to hit, but he also knows his most important job on this ball club is to handle this young pitching staff. He's caught a lot of those guys because of the minor leagues, but he needs to do it right here as well.
And the White Sox will send veteran right-hander Mike Pelfrey to the mound. Pelfrey's actually been pitching pretty well as of late. So keep it right here on NBC Sports California. Coming up, we'll go back to the A's pregame live studios and then back to Chicago for game 1 of this 3-game series, A's and the White Sox.
A's Baseball on NBC Sports California is brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Jack in the Box. Come try the new sweet or spicy barbecue bacon cheeseburger and chicken sandwich. Limited time only.
Beautiful night at the ballpark. We must be in the Midwest. Those folks, a little tailgating going on before the game. They know how to do their brats. You can tell. So they're going to come inside. A nice crowd tonight on a beautiful Friday night here in Chicago. We are on the south side of Chicago. Game time weather for tonight is presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open daily. It is 78 degrees and really not a whole lot of humidity, which is very nice. Some dark clouds rolling in, but we are not expecting any rain. It did rain last night, but it's supposed to be pretty good weather all weekend for the A's and the White Sox, first of three, and our first chance seeing the White Sox this year.
It's country music night tonight. That's why the crowd is good. I guess it's still on fireworks on Friday night still. Every night, every Friday night, fireworks. So they don't waste any time here either for fireworks. They, as soon as the game is over, kaboom, they go.
All right, so let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Oakland A's. It's brought to you by Southwest Airlines, and here it is. Matt Joyce will lead off in left field. Matt Olson hits second in right field, and Jed Lowry, a 308 hitter in his last 30 games. Chris Davis will DH. Alonso at first, Healy at third. Pinders at short. Maxwell will catch. Bruckman is your center fielder. That's your Oakland A's starting lineup for tonight.
And it is the veteran Mike Pelfrey on the mound for the White Sox. Of course, seen him with the Minnesota Twins, and he is a good pitcher. He has an assortment, and not many pitchers still throw the split finger fastball, but he does. And indications are that he's going to use more of his off-speed pitches. He does have a good fastball that he likes to throw predominant time, but we'll see how he pitches tonight in his new uniform. Looking pretty good with the number 50.
Here's the defense for the White Sox. Melky Cabrera is in left. Adam Engel is in center. Avisail Garcia is in right. Frazier, Anderson on the left side. Sanchez Abreu on the right side. Kevin Smith is the catcher. So that's the defensive alignment for the Chicago White Sox. As Mike Pelfrey finishing up his warm-up tosses. So a 6-game road trip starts tonight for the Athletics. So if they want to start turning things around on the road, well, this would be a good time to start. They go 3 here, and then of course on to Houston to start the 3-game series Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday against the Astros. So White Sox, Astros on tap for the A's on this road trip. That's Rick Renteria, his first year here in Chicago, taking over for Robin Ventura, who is here for 5 years.
Rick also with the Chicago Cubs on the north side before Joe Madden came in. Don Cooper, his pitching coach. Cooper's been around forever. And he'll be very happy tomorrow whenever one of his great pitchers has a special day.
That would be Mark Burley. So big Mike Pelfrey's ready. And he kicks and deals the first pitch of the game to Matt Joyce, and it's fouled straight back. Joyce at 227. He's got 8 home runs.
One of those,
he's getting a run in the leadoff spot.
Exactly. He's a good on-base percentage. That's something that he has had a lot of success in the past, and he's trying to find the leadoff hitter, somebody can get on base. Against Tanaka at the Coliseum, first pitch fastball, first pitch home run. After that, no more fastballs. This is it.
Joyce had a 7-game hitting streak, but that was snapped on Wednesday when he went 0 for 4 in that Astros series. One pitch, a sinker first strike, 1-2 the count. Your umpires. So actually they made a late switch on the umpires. So that's actually Jim Wolf calling balls and strikes. They switched it up on us very late. 2-2 the count.
That did not look like Sam Holbrook.
That was not Big Sam. Big Sam's at second base.
Is Jim Wolf's brother Randy still pitching?
I don't think so.
Because they would never have Jim behind the plate umpiring with his brother Randy on the mound, which stands to reason.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Strike 3 called on the inside corner. Joyce backed away from it. Had a little tailing action to it.
I think the tailing action brought it into the strike zone. I think what Matt Joyce was concerned about was the height. Take a look at the height of this pitch and upper part of the strike zone, so he got him twice. Really not a bad pitch, tough to handle, but when he backed off the pitch, two-seamer, 5 fastballs thrown by Pelfrey in the at-bat, all of them with tremendous movement.
Pitchcast is brought to you by Penn Fed Credit Union. So 1 away. Here's Matt Olson. Good sinker there from Pelfrey at 92 miles an hour.
God, I'd have to think with Joyce, Olson, Lowry, Alonso, Maxwell, Brugman, they're all left-handed hitters, and you're going to see the two-seamer. If Pelfrey throws the pitch inside like he has done so far, it's going to be tough to you have to stay in. You see the ball and hope you can see the fastball spin and not move, because if he buckles your knees, he's going to get the movement coming back over the inside part of the plate. It's like Smith, his catcher, is going to stay with that pitch until he has to go to something else.
And Olson chased a high fastball, so he likes the fastball. 61%. Splitter, curve, and slider.
Right now he's staying with a fastball with movement. Nothing wrong with that.
So he jumps ahead of Olson 1-2.
Fastball inside. Watch the movement. There it is.
And it's tapped slowly. Shift is on. Frazier's throw, and they got him. It's a nice play by Todd Frazier, who was playing the shortstop spot. He had a hustle in, and he barehanded it and just got Olson.
Well, you watch Frazier. He's a veteran. He does not panic. Did not hurry. Took his time. And a lot of that because Olson had the check swing kind of jammed him. He was out of the box a little slowly, but Frazier did the right thing. Looked the ball into his hand, came up throwing. And then one thing he wanted to do is make the good throw. And I don't blame an infielder, because why hurry and get an error on a play that you take your time? If he gets a hit, take the hit.
2 outs. Here's Lowry. First pitch to Lowry is inside. Jed at 283 with 8 home runs, 25 RBIs. Couple hits in that Astros series. He was 2 for 11. Settled into the 3rd spot in the A's lineup.
See what the catcher Smith has set up on the outside, splitting the outside corner of the plate. That's all he has to do is get down on the one knee.
Well, tonight, any 95-mile-per-hour fastball is our fast pitch, brought to you by Xfinity, the fastest Wi-Fi at home and on the go. Jarrell Cotton's ready. Little outside, and now 3-0 to Lowry. Lowry 23 doubles on the year, tied for 2nd in the American League in that category.
Well, the predictability of a 3-0 fastball, but the movement that Pelfrey has, might not see Jed swinging at 3-0.
And he misses badly, so 4-pitch walk to Lowry with 2 outs here in the 1st.
I'd like to find out why that always happens. The guy goes through the first 2 hitters like there's no big deal. 3rd hitter, though, it's like he's pitching to Babe Ruth. It's amazing. Instead of going right after like he did to Joyce and Olson, made great pitches, but to Jed Lowry, 4 pitches that weren't close.
So here's Chris Davis in his customary cleanup spot. He's the DH tonight. 18 home runs, 46 RBIs for Davis. And this one is belted to center, and it's hit well. Angles back, and that baby's gone. Chris Davis, a 2-run homer, and the A's grab an early lead.
That's why you don't pitch so carefully to the 3rd place hitter. If you have that guy coming up and you throw him a fastball in the middle of the plate and up, and Chris Davis unloaded straight away center left field. Look at the location, and that enabled Chris Davis just to extend the arms straight away center, and a no-doubter, number 19, already in this Young season. Young being just the 74th game for the Athletics.
So there are your home run leaders in the American League. Judge continues to lead with 25, and Chris Davis in the top 8. 38 RBIs. 1-1 the count to Yonder Alonso. So Davis has 19 home runs, Ray, and 6 of those 19 have come on the first pitch. So sometimes you lay in the weeds a little bit and you get a first pitch you like.
And that's smart play, because Jharel Cotton has a 2-0 lead before he takes the mound, which is actually what we've talked about at home. When you hit first, and saw the Astros especially score early in the game, even before their starter Marches, and then yesterday's starting pitcher Paulino, both took the mounds, young pitchers. One had a 2-0, the other 5-0. Good way to take the mound before you even throw one pitch. You have a lead.
2-2 pitch is lofted in the air toward right center, and it'll be the center fielder Adam Engel who grabs it side retired. But the A's get a home run from Chris Davis, his 19th of the year, so a half inning in the books, and the A's lead 2-0. The A's lead. Bottom of the first, starting lineup for the White Sox, brought to you by Southwest Airlines, and here it is: Cabrera, Abreu, Garcia, Frazier, Davidson, Anderson, Sanchez, Smith, and Engel. There's your White Sox lineup.
And there's your 2-0 lead for Jharel Cotton, and might as well keep it going, especially to have a lead before you take them out. As we mentioned, he's making his 13th start, coming off a good start against the Yankees last Sunday. He needs to take advantage of this early lead.
Facing Melky Cabrera in the leadoff spot. .279 the average for Cabrera, 7 homers and 40 RBIs. 10 doubles, no triples for Cabrera.
Man has always been able to hit.
Yeah, he can hit. Yep. This one popped into the seats.
What if the White Sox have come up with a milkman on the south side?
I haven't seen it. I don't see a group.
Maybe that's just on the Bay Area side,
yeah,
San Francisco side.
That was big for a while.
Yeah.
Short-lived.
Short-lived, exactly. For a number of reasons.
Hit hard right to Pinder, who stays with the ball that comes up a little bit, and Cabrera, hustling down the line, is thrown out. So 1 away, and here's the defense for the A's: Joyce, Bruckman, Olsen, and then in the infield it's Healy, Pinder, Lowry, and Alonso, with Maxwell doing the catching.
Cabrera can get down the line from the left side, and Chad Pinder had the ball come up on him, but showed off a very, very strong arm. And Pinder is able to do that. Of course, playing the outfield, also in the infield, but a very strong arm. He just showed it off.
Here's Jose Abreu. Big, strong right-handed hitter. Another good season for Abreu. .296, 13 home runs, 47 RBIs.
You would never think this big man would be hitting second in the lineup.
In for a strike, and the count is 1-1. Big deal when Jose Abreu signed with the White Sox. He's from Cuba. And this is his 4th year already here in Chicago, and he has had 3 terrific seasons. He's driven in 100 runs in each season, and this one is ripped toward right field. Olson back, and Olson, a step away from the warning track, makes the catch.
Time now for the Nissan keys of the game, and I think, as we all know, they have to get better on the road. Something that's been kind of tough for them all season, but tonight would be a good time to start. And for Jarrell Cotton, this is 1 of 2 starts on the road, as he will be pitching tonight in the pitching game in Houston. And it's always great when you're the first pitcher in a road trip, especially one of 6 games for the Athletics. So he'll get 2 starts.
So here's Avisail Garcia. First pitch to Garcia is a strike as he went around. Garcia is having a terrific season, and it looks like this young man is finally putting it all together. He's leading the American League in hitting at .342. He's got 11 home runs, 51 runs batted in. Olson over, Olson into the corner, and it's just foul. And as I look at Garcia, and I thought the same thing about Jose Abreu. They both look like they've lost some weight.
Yeah,
well, they're both big guys, but there's no question Garcia lost some weight. He looks in terrific shape.
The mini Miggy, Miguel Cabrera, of course, together to Detroit. But yeah, you look at his size, definitely. And batting average at .342, and the ball that he just flicked his wrist almost went out to right field. You can see the numbers that he's put up.
Well, he's always had terrific potential, and he's had some okay years, but he's a different player this year. And still just 26 years old. He just turned 26. Well, the White Sox may have found a cornerstone player in this young man. Last year he had .245 with 12 homers, 51 RBIs. So same amount of RBIs last year as this year. Two pitch is chopped foul.
His setup putting a lot of weight and pressure on his legs as he waits. Kind of bent, not quite like Jeff Bagwell, Astros, who's going to Cooperstown this year. But you have to have strong legs to have a setup. And from a pitcher standpoint, you see a hitter do that. See how he bends his knees? All the weight is on his quads. Take your time. Let him just see how long he can last. But he does that. He steps out, which is a good idea, because I mean, it's almost like just going down, bending your knees, and all the weight on your knees and your quads. But he sits and sits and then unloads. Not quite like Bagwell, but close.
And he hits one softly to Pinder, who charges it and gets it in the air. Side retired. Good inning for Jarrell Cotton. 3 up, 3 down, and the A's lead 2-0 after 1. He's leading 2-0 second inning. It'll be Healy, Pinder, and Maxwell. So if you're a fan of the young players, then this is the part of the order that's for you, right?
That's right. Absolutely.
Healy, Pinder, Maxwell, Brugman, 6, 7, 8, and 9 in the A's lineup tonight. Olsen hitting second. 1-1 to Healy, hitting .273, 17 home runs and 44 runs batted in. Had a tough series against the Astros. He was 1 for 14. So we'll see if he can get rolling again.
See how he's swinging it off balance?
Yeah, well,
he's been doing that.
Yeah, I agree with you. It almost looks like he's jumping at the ball a little bit.
Yeah, because for a long time he just stood upright, but as he swings the slider, watch how he finishes. It's like he's almost falling. You know, normally a guy will open up and he might roll over on a pitch. But it just seems that he is not able to balance himself when he swings, and there are pitches outside that he's been flailing out, to been off the plate, and you know, hitters go through it. I mean, from a young player standpoint, they're going to see pitchers making changes, and you have to change as well. But his power also, like Chris Davis, great opposite field power.
To the backstop. So 2-2 the count. Chris Davis with a very long home run. Just off the top of that roof out there in center field. Right below the green shrubbery.
Well, they finally have something in center field for a batter's eye that's okay, instead of that shiny metal they had for a while.
I like it. I like it.
This is great with the grass or the green, whatever it is. See, there it is.
Yeah, chased a very bad ball. So struggles continue for Healy, and that's out number 1 here in the second inning. True story for tonight. It's brought to you by McDonald's. August 21st, right here in Chicago versus the White Sox last year. Chad Pinder gets his first big league hit, and it was an infield hit in the 7th inning. So that was a big moment for Chad Pinder. He remembers it, I'm sure.
So does the authenticator. That's the great part about the game today.
Really makes it official. Frazier charges it and throws out Pinder for the second out. And that'll bring up Maxwell.
See Jim Wolf using his foot to clean the plate. He does have a little whisk broom, but remember when Bill Veeck owned the White Sox over at the old place, and you'd hit a little button and it whoosh,
that's right, it
comes straight up out and then sweep, like blow off the plate. Kind of compression. Bill Veeck did a lot of things. Had a little rabbit coming up out of the ground with baseballs. He also had disco night.
Yeah,
ooh,
not so good. Not so good. Shallow left. Cabrera hustling in, and it's going to fall. Maxwell loops a single down the left field line with 2 outs. So the A's got a 2-out rally in the first inning. See if they can do it again in the second.
Well, they started yesterday. I thought it was interesting, as we showed in our open, with a base hit to left, base hit to center, double to right. Really, you work on it during batting practice, but the scouting report perhaps on Bruce Maxwell that he's going to pull the ball, but I think with Cabrera, he had to play playing a long way off to not be able to get to the ball.
So here's Brugman, the 9th place hitter for the Athletics. Brugman at .255 with 5 RBIs, 12 hits and 47 at bats. So I would guess, Ray, that there was probably some scrambling going on for the White Sox and getting some scouting reports on all these young players for the A's.
Usually they have the video with players playing over the weekend, or at least at the beginning of the week. I forgot this is Friday, but it's against the Astros. A lot of video available. Sometimes when in doubt, play straight up.
Yep, that's true.
It's the manager making the calls to the catcher. Renteria.
Well, Brugman, like Pinder, getting a chance to play every day. Brugman has started 14 of the A's 15 games since he was called up. Pinder even more than that. So that is a wonderful opportunity for a young player to play every day. Happened with Ryan Healy last year. It does not happen a lot, though. I'm not talking about with the A's. I'm talking about with any team where they call somebody up from the minor leagues and play him every day. A lot of times they get eased in a little bit, but I always thought sometimes it would be easier for a player if he was playing every day, even though you're playing at the big league level. And
it's a great learning experience, and that's the biggest thing for the A's. Saw it with Ryan Healy last year, and he's going through some frustrating times. You always do that as a hitter, but for him to play in 72 of 73 last year when he came up, that is special. And you know, the skipper pretty much has told Chad Pinder, you're going to play. So whether it's the outfield or infield, you're going to play. And that's great confidence that Bob Melvin has in Chad Pinder, especially Pinder's ability to play in the outfield or infield. And it's not a utility player. Like Tony Phillips would always say, I'm not a utility player. I'm playing different positions, but I'm in there every day, which makes a huge difference.
3-2, 2 out, so Maxwell will move, and he does, and the ball is foul back.
But I think the one guy who is hit the heaviest would be the A's hitting coach, Darren Bush, because there's so many young players, and they're trying to learn the game at the major league level, learn how these pitchers pitch. Of course, the defense is always spectacular, something that maybe they didn't experience at the minor league level, making the plays that the players do.
Runner goes, and again, foul ball. This one into the sweet level.
Bush, the A's hitting coach, and it's amazing. They have a scouting report, and they do it before every series. Adam Rode, the video coordinator, has videos actually of the pitchers, but inevitably when a new pitcher comes in, they go straight to Darren Bush. What does he throw? Well, you just had the meeting, but he reinforces everything and talks to the hitters as they come back to dugout, because it is a great learning experience for them.
And that one just missed inside, and Brugman has a walk.
It's a strike to Matt Joyce. Very similar. Now Matt Joyce backed out. Pitch cast shows it. Tries the two-seamer coming back, and I don't know what Jim Wolf did not see. I'm surprised he didn't call it. I think Pelfrey would love to have had it, but two quick outs as he did in the first. Matter of fact, the same thing. Strikeout in a 5-3, strikeout in a 5-3. A walk and a two-run home run. This time a single and a walk.
And an opportunity for Matt Joyce. Infield shifted with the shortstop Anderson playing right up the middle. And Joyce pops it up. Third baseman Frazier is there. He's got it. Side retired. A strand to pair in the top of the second. Bottom of the second coming up. 2-0 Athletics.
Baseball on NBC Sports California is brought to you by Pete's Cold Brew. The true cold brew that's always cold, so it's always fresh. Pete's is coming in cold to a store near you.
Beautiful look at downtown Chicago. What an awesome place. See that boat right there that you saw initially? That's the, see, I know it because I've been out. That's the architectural tour.
Oh, that's a good tour, too.
That's a good tour.
How about when they have St. Patty's Day and they turn the river green?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Al Capone's idea, maybe. No, Al Capone, he didn't get along with the Irish, so it would not be his idea.
That's exactly right.
Bottom of the second inning for Jarrell Cotton, who had a 3-up, 3-down first inning.
Be careful with this man. He can hit home runs. Matter of fact, home run derbies. He's been successful. Came over from the Cincinnati Reds, and I asked him tonight if he's going to participate. Yeah, I don't think so. I said if I'd have won more than just one, I probably would have. But he was talking about Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton. He also mentioned Sano of Minnesota.
That's a good call.
Yeah. He said, can't forget about him. He said, easiest swing that you ever see, but the ball jumps off his bat.
I saw Joey Votto's name today.
Yeah.
A possible National League home run hitting contest candidate.
Frazier, a little bit of an unorthodox setup. He stands, but gets into hitting position very quickly. Cut fastball by Jarrell Cotton. Many thought that Todd Frazier, along with Jose Quintana, would be gone. It is country night, so you'll see the players on their jumbotron with cowboy hats. So Steve Stone, he was dressed perfectly. Well,
was he? I didn't see him. Stoney. Well, this tells you right here that Frazier, you better be careful. Home run leaders in all of baseball since 2014. Frazier is 5th. He's tied with Nolan Arenado.
It's pretty good company.
Yeah, my goodness.
He did it at his home park. He was playing for the Reds. And you talk about a special. We got him again.
Yep.
And he was shaking his head on the first one, and he got him again.
A couple of high strikes, and Cotton will take it. So one away here in the bottom of the second inning.
And he's letting Jim Wolf know, because the first one, he kind of said, oh, you're kidding me. And then all of a sudden he comes back and just watch what happens after it's called. He's going, no, I can't believe it. You did it again. And, you know, hitters are not geared to swing at that high fastball, high strike. And they may, considering that's what Wolf is calling. That's why the surprise he didn't call out Brugman on a pitch that was the same height and the two-seamer.
Good curveball to Matt Davidson. There's Steve Stone on the right.
Jason Benetti, the new play-by-play man.
Well, I've seen Stoney driving around Scottsdale with that hat on, so I don't think it's that different of a thing for him, right? Matt Davidson hits one to shallow right center field, kind of the Bermuda Triangle, and it falls.
Wow. Cannot let that ball drop. And when you have a center fielder who should take charge, jogging in, with the infielder going out, he's going to go out. We're going to see the route he took and watch you shut it down. You cannot do it. You have to go for it, call him off. And that's something that you learn as a center fielder. You take charge. And even as the infielder is going out, even though he might be calling, he's waiting for somebody to call him off.
Well, it looked like Brugman, not only did he didn't necessarily break back, but he broke to his left and then went to his left about 4 steps before breaking in. And at that point, it's way too late. So it goes as a hit. Grounded sharply. Nice play by Pinder to Lowry to first. Double play. Terrific play by Chad Pinder, and it starts a 6-4-3 double play. We think it's worth another look. Third inning coming up. 2-0 A's lead. lead on Chris Davis home run. Country Western night here in Chicago. Ray and I did not dress up. We only do that at home.
That's right.
Olson, Lowry, and Davis against Pelfrey. Matt Olson grounded out to the third baseman, hit a little slow roller. Kind of a half swing ground ball that Frazier made a nice play on. Swing and a miss. I think that pitch right there, I think that's the one that Matt Olson is going to have to figure out how to hit.
Yeah.
Watch where it is.
That's right. There,
Am I right there?
Yep.
And it's a difficult pitch to hit, but you have to foul it off or do something with it. And you watch. I bet as Olson plays every day, you're going to see a lot of that.
Yeah. And you're right, especially when he has his hands out in front of him, takes the hands back to load up, but then go back inside with a fastball. There it is.
Just below us, so Smith, the catcher, is setting up inside. And I guess what you have to do, Ray, is you just have to foul it off.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, don't let it get you out.
Yeah.
If it's a pitch that maybe you have trouble with. Because with Olson's power, that's all you have to do is hope that one maybe leaks back over the plate a little bit.
That's what a pitcher is afraid of. Bartolo Colon lived in there, but he didn't throw in there until he was sure that he had the kind of movement that he wanted.
Plus, there's not a lot of pitchers that can consistently pitch effective on the inside corner.
Nope. You know what we talked about yesterday when Jesse Hahn hit Springer. He pretty much admitted in the paper, he kind of shook him up a little bit, but it's one thing that happens. You just really don't want to admit it because you have to pitch inside, and once a team or hitters realize that you're not, well, you're in trouble.
See, watch this last pitch. Now they want it inside again, but watch how this one leaks out over the plate. See, now that becomes a hittable pitch.
Very hittable.
And the catcher wants it in the same spot as the one that Olson swung and missed at. Again, same thing.
Yeah, he's trying to live in there, and he's going to make a mistake, and Olson's going to unload on one. But that's all of a sudden about a bell tie fastball.
So ninth pitch of the at bat coming up.
Another fastball.
And that one is belted, and it's foul. So he has thrown 3 straight pitches that the catcher has wanted to get in on Olson, and they've come back out over the plate. Actually, that time he set up outside, so he may wanted to have it work away and get off the plate a little bit.
Olson crushed it, just pulled it foul. It is the 10th, started the at bat 0-2. He's fouled off 4 with 2 strikes. Slider.
Coming back is Smith, the catcher. He's going to have just enough room, and he makes the catch. So a good battle, but it's won by Pelfrey, and that's out number 1.
Smart Play Today brought to you by your California Ford dealers. How about a great double play started by Chad Pinder. Slides to his left, comes up perfectly. Nice feed to Jed Lowry on to first base. Yonder Alonso liked it. The slide, the spin, right into a perfect feed to Jed Lowry, and they get the speedy runner coming down the line. But nice play, takes a possible first and third away from the White Sox. Instead, it's a double play. He's back in the dugout. The power of, I got that one. Can you put up that graphic again, Mr. Hoodie? The power of love, right?
Yeah. But you got to tell us who sang it.
Yeah, Huey Lewis.
Right. You've been studying. That's what you're doing on the airplane.
I just glanced and I saw the Hoodie, the power of Pinder.
Buying those Huey Lewis CDs.
I'll leave it up to my daughter Lindsay. She likes the news. John Gibson.
Inside, and it's 1-2 to Lowry. That big curveball kind of floats in there.
Pelfrey's throwing a lot of pitches, and you don't expect your veteran pitcher to have 52 pitches with 1 out in the 3rd inning.
He's flipping them up there. Some of these pitches are 62, 63 miles an hour. Of course, it's that big overhand curve. And that one way inside, almost hit Lowry.
And another 3-2 count. Started 0-2, and here he is trying to go to the front hip and try to bring it back, but it cut the other way. Don Cooper, great pitching coach from New York. He's been with a lot of managers, starting with Ozzie, Ventura, Renteria.
And an off-speed pitch on 3-2, and that's the 3rd strikeout for Pelfrey. I think Lowry's looking back going, what was that?
Well, Pelfrey threw a slider after 9 pitches to Olsen. Same thing with Jed Lowry, goes slider down and in, and took a lot off the pitch. You do know that Bill Gibson with Huey Lewis, the drummer, is a huge A's fan.
I know.
Yeah, he's big. He's a big A's fan.
He was in the booth a while ago,
Yeah.
and we'd like to have him back.
Absolutely. Haven't seen him in a while. What's that guy's name? Jim Barnett or something with the Warriors? Didn't he used to come around all the time?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Man, he's ignoring us. He doesn't come over anymore since they're 2-time world champions.
That name does not ring a bell to me.
Well, if it doesn't ring a bell to you, I can't think of it either.
No.
It just came to my mind.
I don't know who you're talking about.
And I hope somebody tells Jimmy we're talking about it. He better be at the stadium, at the Coliseum, the next time we come home.
1-2 the count to Chris Davis, who hit a 2-run homer in the very 1st inning. Pelfrey looking for a 3-up, 3-down inning. He has not had one yet.
Delaire just said that Bob Fitzgerald is a huge White Sox fan. So,
Okay.
Bobby, if you're listening, tell your partner who's an A's fan.
That's right. Help us out, Bob.
That's right. Tell him to come to the booth. He's always welcome because everybody knows him at the Coliseum and the arena.
Fastball a little bit high, but that's where Smith wanted it.
3rd hitter, 3rd 3-2 count of this inning. That was a first pitch fastball belt high, straightaway center field. So, Mr. Fitzgerald, your White Sox are trailing 2-0, thanks to that 2-run home run.
Two pitch hit hard through the shift into left center field for a base hit. So Pelfrey is not going to get a 3-up, 3-down inning, and that 3rd out's been a little bit elusive for Pelfrey.
Not a fastball when you fall behind. And actually, if you go back to last inning, Brugman had a 3-2, a lot of pitches. Ball just passed. I mean, cut right in between the shift. No chance for any of the infielders to get to the ball, especially hit that hard. But he had 3-0 against Lowry, walked him, and then to Brugman, and now Olsen, Lowry, and KD, all 3-2 counts. And you're right. It's the first 2 outs, and he gets in trouble, throwing too many pitches.
Yonder Alonso hit a fly ball to center field in the 1st inning. Full shift on. Frazier playing a shallow shortstop spot, and White Sox play Alonso to pull in the outfield as well. Abreu backhands it, easy play, steps on the bag side, retired, hitting a runner left. So we're headed to the bottom of the 3rd from Chicago. A's 2, White Sox 0.
For the third annual Play Ball 5K on Sunday, July the 2nd. Start on the field behind home plate, cross the finish line in the parking lot just in time to watch the A's take on the Braves at 1 p.m. Your race entry includes a game ticket, free parking, a race t-shirt, and an all-new finisher's medal. Sign up today at athletics.com/5K. Expect to see my partner up there in the 5K race. Probably right along with me up in the booth.
That's funny.
Got to get prepared for the Braves.
I can't do it.
Yeah, not enough time.
I'd like to, I just can't.
Send Jack out there. Jack could probably do it for you.
Could probably. Yolmer Sanchez, the switch hitting second baseman, taking over the second base job for the White Sox. 276, 3 homers, and 20 RBIs. Jarrell Cotton so far, 3 up, 3 down in the first, gave up a hit in the second, but got a double play. So good start so far for Jarrell Cotton, and we talked about it in the pregame show, Ray, about the fact that Jarrell Cotton, like many young pitchers, a little bit inconsistent, and with him even inconsistent within the game.
Yeah.
And he's going to get better at it. So now it's a leadoff walk. So that's kind of what we're saying. Now here's a perfect example. Look at his ERAs this year in the different innings. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. He's only pitched into the 7th inning really only a couple of times. But there you sort of see what we're saying as far as even within the game. And part of that is there may be some adjustments made by the lineup going against him.
And the good news, that second inning's finished.
That's right.
10.5. Well, yesterday's game, the Astros, their second inning turned out to be about a 10 ERA with scoring 8. Maybe higher than
Kevin
that.
Smith.
And the danger there, that was kind of a get me over at 87. And granted, he's got a good changeup, and Smith was taking the pitch all the way to make him throw a strike after 4 out of the strike zone.
Adam Engel, right-handed hitter, is in the on-deck circle. One hit high and foul. Sanchez has 4 steals this year, but he's been thrown out 6 times. White Sox not a real big stolen base team. They have 28 on the year. That's 12th in the American League.
You saw the Astros at just 35. Of course, they've won 50 games. I don't think they need to steal bases.
No, they can do a number of different things.
Yeah.
They could if they wanted to.
They probably could. Surprised and look at some of the numbers. Some of you Astros don't have attempts, but scoring as many runs as they do, as what you say, over 400 already. As
They
of
went over
yesterday.
400. Yeah.
That's incredible.
1-2 pitch to Kevin Smith, the catcher. Backhanded. Healy looked to second. Now he's going to go across to first, and they just get Smith on a close play.
Catcher still has those young legs. He was getting down the line rather quickly and cannot take too much time and look. And Ryan Healy thought about second. Yeah, better not. It better set up and throw to first base and use a strong arm, because that was one stride short of being an infield hit.
So here's Adam Engel, the young center fielder. Right-handed hitter. He's got a lot of speed.
Almost has his bat up as high as Craig Counsell did. It doesn't matter where you start the bat. You see where Olsen has his in front of his hands. We saw Torres with the Yankees in front of his body with the hands. And this young man, Engel, will start with the bat way up high, but as the pitch is on its way, it gets down in the hitting zone. That's all that matters. You have the kind of speed he does, it really doesn't matter about anything. See how high he is with the hands, but watch what happens as the pitch is on its way. Get it down.
Looks like he gets it down maybe a little late.
That what he did. Fortunately for him, the pitch was out of the strike zone.
That's a long ways, though.
It is. You got to.
You still got to do it, right?
That's
It
right.
still takes time.
Yeah, you've got to get the timing to get the hands down and into the hitting zone to load up. And it is all about timing.
I guess when you have to do that, or you have some movement.
Yeah.
You don't want, the only thing you don't want to have, you don't want your head to move.
Exactly. Yeah. The bat's fine, but you have to load up and get all this about the timing. If
Strike on the inside corner. Good pitch by Cotton.
and typically, if a guy's hands are there to get him down and get it through the inside part of the plate, you can't do it. Watch the location of the pitch as he starts to swing. If he had swung, he'd probably broken his bat. These are where the scouting reports come in, also from a catcher standpoint, to be able to look and see the setup of the hitter, watch his feet.
Curve and a good one. Strike 3 call.
I don't think he's ready to hit any of those pitches.
Nope.
He just some very good pitches thrown by Jarrell Cotton, but watch him buckle the knees a little bit. Couldn't pull the trigger. It's almost like he was praying for it to be out of the strike zone. Just couldn't pull it. But there's the curveball, the spin.
It's a good pitch.
Yes, it was a very good. Frozen.
So with 2 outs, here's tough out Melky Cabrera, who grounded to short, leading off the bottom of the first. There's a strike. Cabrera is in the final year of his 3-year contract that he signed with the White Sox, so he'll be a free agent after this season.
And his numbers also indicate that he's healthy, something that he was not the first year that he played for the White Sox. Couldn't get to the ball in left field.
You know, we mentioned what happened to him in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
I don't know this for sure, but I think if that would not have happened, I think he would have been a Giant for a long time.
Right. I agree.
I think they would have signed him to a long-term contract.
Yeah,
that
it's
was
unfortunate.
2012
Yeah.
when he got himself in trouble.
The amazing thing, he went on to sign a big contract with Toronto, and it's almost there's no penalty for doing what he did.
No, he got a nice contract there, and he got a nice contract here in Chicago.
Exactly.
He played 2 years in Toronto after drug suspension, and then this is his 3rd year with the White Sox.
And that contract, I think it was 2 years at 16.
Runner goes from 2nd to 3rd, and Cabrera fouls it straight back.
And that's where Brooks Maxwell came up ready to throw. But man, you can see as a catcher the kind of jump he got. Don't even bother. Just put the ball in your pocket, throw back the pitcher, because the only thing you can do, watch him come up, he's going to get ready to throw. And the only thing you can do is throw a ball in left field. That kind of a jump, you hurry. First of all, he's already in scoring position at second base. Sanchez is.
Cotton looks, 1-2 pitch, down and in, 2-2.
You know, one thing also, Cap, if catcher can look out and see that second base and shortstop, Lowry and Pinder hold the positions. They're not even paying any attention to Sanchez at second base. So with that in mind, as a catcher, if runner does run to third, you don't throw, because look how spread they are. They want to hold their position, take away a base hit, prevent a run from scoring.
Cabrera pops it up. Joyce in. Joyce is there. He's got it. And Jarrell Cotton gets out of it. So runner stranded. We're headed to the 4th. Still 2-0 A's.
You can avoid the 4th of July headache with family-friendly fireworks a day early with the A's. And that's the biggest and best fireworks show in Northern California. It's presented by MLB, the show only on PlayStation. And will follow the A's White Sox game on July the 3rd. Yes, the White Sox will be at the Coliseum in about 10 days. Plus, you can enjoy these free fireworks show right on the field. For tickets, visit athletics.com/happy. That's athletics.com/happy. Those fireworks are the best at the Coliseum. Get to watch A's baseball. Clay Wood have put a yellow tape around the infield. You think it's an accident zone or something. Yellow tape. Clay, what are you doing? This is a baseball field. You know, there's nothing emergency here. This is fun time.
It's our two favorite days of our two favorite times of the year is when the dogs are walking on the warning track, when the little leaguers are walking on the warning track, and when it's fireworks, because we just I look at Clay in my binoculars just to see how he's doing. Backing up is Frazier. He's got a long throw across, and that's not an easy play, but it's taken care of. See, I'm not happy right now with Steve Stone.
What's he doing?
You know, I may have to go over there.
No,
that's my brother Dwayne's bobblehead.
You're kidding me.
No, you think you're funny, Stoney?
Yeah, Stoney. Should have been released right after he gave up the home run.
Yeah. Stoney's going to get a piece of me in a minute here. I'm going over there. Yeah. Let's we can use the 6-ounce gloves if you want, Stoney, or we can go with the 9-ounce gloves, whatever you want. Blood is thicker than water, right?
Jason's over there going, "What are you doing, Stoney? That's a nice bobblehead. What are you doing?"
So got to stick up for family.
You got to talk to Jason and say, you know why he's doing that? Because my brother hit the only home run he ever hit was off Stoney, and he should have been released after it happened.
There's going to be trouble in the booth next door.
Well, you go ahead, take care of business. I'll take care of this, okay?
Yeah,
and if you need any backup, let me know.
You know what? It's not going to be pretty, Ray. I just want you to know that. And if I'm not able to get back in time, can you?
I'll take over. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Because there's things that
that's
I just have to take care of.
And if the door is locked, punch it down. Just shove it.
That's not going to be good. So I appreciate you taking care of me.
Absolutely. Like I said, if you need backup, just let me know.
Yeah.
I'm sure Larry's going to have a camera on you. Just
no, I can take Stoney on my own. So. Just having a little trouble concentrating right now. 2-2 to Pinder. And that one catches the outside corner. Strike 3 call. So that's strikeout number 4 for Mike Pelfrey.
Coincidentally, that's a strikeout in each of the first 4 innings, but after that he's fallen in trouble. So we'll see what happens this time. Again, exactly the same thing that happened the first, the second, and the fourth.
So he's got the first 2 outs in every inning so far, but does not have a 3-up, 3-down inning.
In the first, the second, and the fourth, he had a 5-3 and a K, and he did that last inning. He had a 2 foul and a K. Chad Pinder say, why did he even take that pitch?
Maxwell rips one foul down the left field line. Maxwell blooped one down the left field line. It fell for a base hit.
Well, Maxwell showed up yesterday, got 3 hits. Today 1 hit, so he's 4 for 4.
Take it.
And using the whole field, which is a great way to approach.
Fastball a little bit up, fouls that one back. So the count 1-2 to Maxwell. A's have 3 hits in the game so far. White Sox have just 1. Spoils a good pitch, does Maxwell.
Well, that's what Pelfrey likes to do. He's taken a lot off the slider when he gets 2 strikes on a hitter, and he did it to Olsen to pop him up. You got Lowry swinging and missing, and this slow slider to Maxwell, he was just able to foul it.
Another 1-2 to Maxwell. Hit hard past Mike Eldreddy.
And Mike Eldreddy, a lot of credit. Of course, he's got some young outfielders, but working with the outfielders, he's on a daily basis working with Chris Davis on throwing. He's got him out in the outfield. They're long tossing and throwing, and so coach's job never ends. And for Mike Eldreddy at first base, but also with the outfielders, and good to see him working consistently with KD.
So 2-2 to Maxwell. A lot of pitches for Pelfrey. This is number 75. Toward left field and toward the seats and just a couple rows back.
You know, surprisingly, Cap, and it's a good point, the number of pitches, but I can't remember seeing a split swing fastball. It's one of his better pitches, kind of a put away pitches, but look at the number of pitches he's thrown already tonight. And talking about a bullpen in need, he may have one more, maybe two, depending on how it works out, but he's just not been able to put hitters away with pitches. First inning, he didn't have a foul ball with 2 strikes, but now he's got 11 in the last 3 innings.
So another long at bat. This is the 9th pitch coming up to Bruce Maxwell. And that one just missed outside. So good at bat for Maxwell. He's got a single and a walk. 4th straight inning. He has retired the first 2 batters, then allowed the 3rd batter to reach base.
Amazing.
That's why the pitch count is where it is. Pelfrey, remember, he signed a 2-year contract with the Tigers. It was a 2-year, $16 million deal with Detroit. And last year with the Tigers, he just was not very good. In fact, he was 4-10 last year, and the Tigers just could not stay with him any longer. He's 68-96 in his career. Tigers released him on April 3rd. 5 days later, he signed a minor league contract with the White Sox. And then on the 22nd of April, he got called up to the big leagues. So in the wonderful world of baseball, Pelfrey is still getting the money from the 2nd year of that contract. That's not the issue. All that money is guaranteed.
Is it the Mike Hampton?
Not quite as long of a deal. Pelfrey was a #1 draft pick of the New York Mets back in 2005. He's a big fella, 6'7", 240 pounds. Maybe trying to revive his career here a little bit with the White Sox. He is 33 years old.
Well, I'm sure there's some players who are retired who cringe when they see the 25 to 30 games under 500 and the kind of contracts that guys are getting. But you know, that's pitching as a premium. Will always be.
Right field, Garcia over and back, and he's got it.
See you later, partner. Go get him.
You know what? I got a little family business to get. Stody, you're in big trouble. I'm coming over.
You look like you're about 6'8" and 280 pounds coming in to take care of that little guy sitting down. What did he say about the bat?
And he said, well, the bat that's on the bobblehead, that's about the same size he used. He said, that's not funny.
So did you keep the bobblehead?
No, he said it's the only one they had. He was still trying to mess with it, though. See, stop it.
You took care of it.
Stick up for your family.
That's right. So Dwayne, if you're watching, your brother took care of business. You still owned Steve Stone, though. You still owned it.
And Jason, their play-by-play guy, was looking like, what is this guy doing in here?
Right.
Why is he in here and he's bothering our show? Abreu, Garcia, Frazier, so some big hitters coming up. Jarrell Cotton, who's been good so far, just one hit, couple of strikeouts.
Well, you're facing the team for the first time. Garcia, of course, hitting behind Abreu. Then he's got Frazier. So some power hitters, but the important thing for the hitter seeing a pitcher for the first time would be, what did you learn from your first at bat?
A little bit inside.
Let's not forget also that the White Sox share a facility in spring training with Glendale with the Dodgers. So the A's will see and have seen the White Sox and home and away. Just a question of whether Cotton has faced them. He's not faced them during the regular season.
Curve has popped up. Cotton may have got away with one there. Abreu flips his bat. So Abreu is retired.
I missed this, so it's good that we'll get to show it again. See all the fans in Cleveland?
And the ball bounced back onto the field. And we said, thank you very much. Got a souvenir. He's still mad at you for not being out there to congratulate him.
Yeah, I know. I was upstairs getting a beverage.
You were playing, though. You were in the lineup.
I was there. You know, just, I mean, who would have thought? You know, I mean,
so
it's not like he had 100, you know, and this was just another one.
So what you're saying is you weren't anticipating a first inning.
Well, I heard the crowd, all 5,000 of them reacting. I said, well, what happened? And they said, Kipe hit a home run. Wow. He's got to get his trot down, though.
I thought there would be more, and there wasn't. Turns out we're happy there was at least one.
Yeah, fill up the column.
That one is hit to right field. Olsen is underneath it, and he has it. I thought that ball was hit a little bit better.
I did too, and it's kind of an inside-out swing, but Garcia, of course, is hitting for an average. His home run total is pretty well also, but it's off the end of the bat. You could see as he swung, he opened up. It shouldn't sound like it, but it looked like it's off the end of the bat, but it really didn't go as far as we thought it would. I think Abreu hits that ball, it's a home run.
So here's Todd Frazier. Frazier struck out looking in the second inning. White Sox are 9th in the league in total runs scored. They're 13th in home runs, but better lately. The last month and a half or so, they've started to swing the bats a lot better.
I think the amazing thing, Kipe, the division, they're 7 games under 500, but they're only 7 out.
Sure.
The A's are 9 under, and they're 18.5 out.
Yep.
It's a difference in the leaders of the pack.
It's the worst thing that can happen to a team is another team in your division run away.
But the beauty, and that's why you never give up, because you have not only 1 but 2 wild cards.
More action for Healy. He's got it. Throws across, and that's a good inning for Jarrell Cotton. 3 up, 3 down. And a pop-up, a fly ball, and a ground out. 5th inning coming up. A's 2, White Sox nothing.
A's Baseball on NBC Sports California is brought to you by Provident Credit Union Super Reward Checking. We pay you.
A's got 2 in the first on Chris Davis's home run. Now it's the top of the 5th, still 2-0. Top of the order with Matt Joyce leading it off. A's at 31-42, and as Ray said, game number 74 on the season. And at some point you just feel like the A's are going to start being a better team on the road. Bob Melvin was asked about that today, and he just kind of shook his head. He said, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just hard to figure out.
It's hard to figure it out for sure, because it just, you can't believe it's happening.
2-1. This is, A's are 9-25 on the road, so that's where the struggle is. The home record's decent, but this is the 6th road trip of the year for the A's. And remember, their very first one, they went to Texas and Kansas City, Ray, and they split. They were 3-3 on that trip. But since then, they are 6-22 on the road. They won 2 out of 3 in Kansas City. But still time to get better.
Well, in that game in Kansas City, one of the wins was Jarrell Cotton pitching, home opener for the Royals. About a 3:15 local start. Chris Davis hit a 2-run home run in that game.
Right.
At the end of the game, it was 2-0. Of course, nobody could see, but Jarrell Cotton pitched 7 innings of great baseball. Just 2 hits.
That one is belted. Right center field and deep. And that baby's gone. 3-0, the A's lead. Home run number 9 for Matt Joyce.
Well, you said it right. You try to go inside and you miss outside the target, but the pitch really started towards the inside and ended up a little bit belt high. Matt Joyce, though he got it, but I thought the difference in the last at bat, he had 2 runners on base. He got a first pitch curveball, popped it up. This time, similar to the first at bat, he gets the fastball on 3-2 and didn't miss it. That's just what happens differently when the runner's on base. If Matt Joyce had anything to do with thinking about the second at bat when he hit First pitch curveball and popped it up. That was with 2 runners on. And that just shows you how differently pitchers pitch when there are runners in score position. Challenged with a fastball, got beat.
A couple of home runs for the A's in the ball game. Matt Olson was grounded out and fouled out. So in that 4-game series, it's Chris Beck starting to throw for the White Sox. In that 4-game series against the Astros, the A's only hit 1 home run. 2 tonight. Olson had a good swing and he skies one. Looks like it's up over our head. And it is.
Might be up Mr. Reinsdorf. Powerful young man, and you can see how he's as patient as he is, but very dangerous swing of the bat and being able to hit home runs.
Two and 2 to Olson. Lowry to follow here in the top of the 5th. Curve stays outside. Full count. Olson 6'5". Big shift on for the A's rookie. Left-handed hitter. That one's bounced. Abreu handles it. Flips to Pelfrey. And that's the first out here in the 5th inning. So Olson 0 for 3, and that'll bring up Lowry. White Sox had a weird day yesterday. They won a game 9-0 over the Minnesota Twins, so that's a good thing. And it was an afternoon, a scheduled 12:10 start. So they start their day games during the week in Minnesota very early. So nothing like a nice 12:10 start to get yourself out of town, right? Well, they had a 4-hour and 50. 4-hour and 50. That's 50-minute rain delay. So the scheduled start time was 12:10. The actual start time was 5 p.m. So they waited it out and they finally got the game in. It was the longest rain delay in Twins history, not in White Sox history. But they won the game 9-0. So, and they scored 5 runs in the first inning, so that they were fine.
2 2-run home runs.
That's a long time.
Well, of course, had it been scheduled for a night game, I don't think they would have started it close to midnight, because they're the same division. I think only because it was a day game schedule, which means that for the staff, they probably were out there 14 hours. They got to park at 8 o'clock for 12:10, and by the time the game was over.
Well, and you're also thinking, if you're the White Sox, hey, 12:10 game.
That's right.
Over at 3-ish. Quick flight from Minneapolis back home to Chicago. You could be home by 7 o'clock. That was not the case. Dribbled up the first base line. Abreu picks it up, steps on first, 2 away. But if you're going to wait it out, at least you get a win. Speaking of that AL Central, a big series this weekend in Cleveland. The Twins at the Indians. And the Twins have a 5-0 lead in the bottom of the 7th. So remember last weekend, the Indians went to Minnesota and swept them in a 4-game series. Well, now the Twins have a chance to do some damage in Cleveland. Indians have won 8 out of 9, and they have that 2.5-game lead in the Central. Twins with a good shot to take game 1 of that series. Actually, the Twins. How do you figure this one, Ray? The Twins are 16-25 at home. They're 20-9 on the road. See, I mean, how do you figure that? You just don't. 2-0 to Chris Davis. Baseball's a crazy game sometimes. There's numbers that you throw out there that there's really not an explanation for, and I think the A's road record there just is not necessarily an explanation for.
I would think Paul Molitor's got to tell his guys you're eventually going to play better at home.
You would think.
And just play 500 the rest of the way on the road, might win a division. 100 pitches, 2 outs in the 5th inning.
And now 3-1. But I mean, it seems like every batter that Pelfrey has faced, he's thrown at least 4 or 5 pitches to.
Well, he's had 7 3-2 counts with a couple of those with 9 pitches. Actually, 2 with 10, 1 with 9. Had a 3-0, now 3-1. Make it 3-2, another one. So that's 8 3-2 counts for Pelfrey. Not surprising that his pitch count's over 100. Let's see if he can pitch one more inning and give up 3. It's a quality start. And you tell me this is a quality start? I'm sorry. I don't think so. Because I don't think he'll pitch beyond the 5th. And with Beck warming up, he may not get out of the 5th unless he gets KD out.
3-2 pitch. He did not swing. So Chris Davis with the walk.
Got to sell it. Got to sell it. And he sold it. And this is what Chris Davis did. He didn't swing.
Nope. Good call.
Yeah. MLB.TV every night. Every device. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live. Plus, get a free subscription to AtBat Premium and I'm on App for Live Baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Don Cooper out to talk to his pitcher and maybe to say, I got one more for you. I bought one more at bat. One more batter.
So here's Yonder Alonso, who has hit a fly ball to center field, and he is grounded to first. First pitch off speed, and it floats outside.
I talked about the great article that Yonder and his wife penned for Baseball Tribune, and talking about his arrival from Cuba. Evidently, Mark Burley did the same thing. The article was not fully published, but it's an excerpt from it, talking about the great fans in Chicago on the South Side.
Another off-speed pitch, and that's not close. 2-0. Well, Mark Burley, when you are a major part of a team breaking an 88-year World Series drought, you're going to be a popular figure, and he certainly is in Chicago. Runner goes, throw to second base, and it's late. Chris Davis with a stolen base.
Abreu was playing behind him. It's a 3-0 game. What's he doing?
Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
No.
Chris Davis.
Look where Abreu's playing. Thank you. It's like it's like it's 3-2 with 2 outs, but Smith had no chance to throw him out, and they just put him on, and maybe that. Now Richard Reed's coming out.
So that's probably not going to make Pelfrey all that happy. That's what happens when you throw 106 pitches in 4 2/3 innings. So when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and repair experts.
you can bring your pooch out to the park on Friday, July the 14th. That will be against the Tribe for our annual Bark at the Park event. It's presented by Avaderm Natural and Nylabone. There will be free samples for dogs, pregame pet parade, and so much more. Purchase your special ticket for this event right now. Space is limited, so act quickly. For information and tickets, visit athletics.com/bark to register today. That will be the Tribe. Only visit to the Coliseum. 14, 15, 16. Cleveland Indians in town right after the All-Star break.
Here's Chris Beck, 1-0, 3.29 ERA. His 25th appearance.
It's called the long man. Good fastball. He can throw a lot. Did not face the A's last year. So see if the first pitch is a slider for Ryan Healy, who is seeing a few of those tonight.
First pitch is away, 91 miles an hour. Healy has struck out and grounded to third. Davis at second, Alonso at first. They both walked. 5 walks for Pelfrey in his performance. Down the right field line, hit pretty well into the corner. Garcia is there, and did he catch it? He did catch it. Sensational play by Avisail Garcia, and that ends the inning. That would have scored 2, and who knows where Healy would have ended up, but Garcia went into the corner and made a great play. A's do get a run on Matt Joyce's home run, his 9th of the year. So we're going to the bottom of the 5th, 3-0 A's lead. Been 5-0. Watch this play by Garcia in the right field corner.
Well, the nice thing is Ryan Healy using his power going opposite field, but what a play by Garcia to the wall, banged into the padded wall. Concentration all the way to make the play, and it was a fair ball all the way. The big glove making a great catch, banging to the wall, held on, and Ryan Healy said, "What? He caught it? Can't believe it. It's called the big leagues." That's.
Looks like Garcia had just enough time to
catch and brace
himself.
Yeah,
a little bit anyways.
Yeah, that's just enough. You're right, just enough time, and that's, you know, you want to see an outfielder not peek at the wall, because then you're probably going to drop the ball. Staying on it, watched it all the way.
0-1 to Matt Davidson, the designated hitter. Davidson could be starting to put it all together. He's got 17 home runs, 38 RBIs.
So
he's had some time in the big leagues where he has struggled.
Pelfrey over 100 pitches in his 4 2/3. 4 innings for Cotton. This is just his 53rd pitch.
1-2 the count.
That's the biggest thing you'd like to see with a 2 spot on the first inning. That's right, Kev. What you just said is perfect. 7 home runs
in the last 10 games. He was originally with the Diamondbacks. He played in the big leagues with the Diamondbacks in 2013, played in 31 games, and then he was traded to the White Sox for Addison Reed. Addison Reed, pretty good reliever. And the White Sox thought that they had their third baseman of the future, but he went down to AAA and did okay in AAA. And last year, just a very brief time in the big leagues, but still 26 years old and maybe just putting it all together now. He's a big fella, 6'3", 230 pounds. Two pitch swing and a miss. He struck him out with a high fastball. So 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th.
It's amazing to see Maxwell move as far as he did, as quickly as he did, yet the hitter gets tied up with a fastball in. He tried to hold your position as a catcher, move at the last instant, but he really gave it away early, but still got the job done with a good location of the fastball.
There's Tim Anderson. Outside corner strike. Jarrell Cotton, 2.49 ERA in his 4 wins, 7.19 ERA in his 7 losses. A little bit high. Anderson hit into a 6-4-3 double play. That one is a fair ball. Maxwell grabs it, tags Anderson, 2 outs. Anderson chatting with Jim Wolf. The old 2 unassisted.
Somebody just got thrown out. I guess it was Anderson. Renteria did not get out quickly enough. Must have said the magical word or words. Well, let's see. The ball pops, and it's where it is when hustling out, and it's over the line. And Anderson couldn't believe it, and I guess as he was walking back, ball off the end of the bat, and it rolled out in front, and Anderson didn't go towards first base. And Maxwell, good hustle getting out, and it's basically look at the line and where the ball is down. He gets on too.
Yep. So Jim Wolf throws out the starting shortstop and the manager in a very short period of time. So if you're scoring at home hockey wise, he's +2.
And since this is the NHL draft tonight, attaboy,
exactly what I was thinking. Jim Wolf is a +2 tonight. So he's probably pretty proud of that.
So that's not Sam Holbrook.
No, that's Jim Wolf.
It's a good hustle by Bruce Maxwell. That's the key, because he got out and got it before. If the ball had hit the ground, it would have spun back in foul territory. But he got out and got the ball in the air, and that's where Wolf looked down the line. He could see that evidently the ball was caught on the inside part of the foul line towards fair territory, which would indicate a fair ball.
Up the middle, Pinder. I think Pinder was going to throw him out anyway, so Sanchez will have a hit. And now Sanchez trying for second, and he's out.
Wow. He said wait, but trying to check it out.
Well, Sanchez decided to be brave and try for second. And he was called out.
Ball deflected off the glove of Pinder into the outfield, and he didn't know where it was. And the ball rolling around, and Sanchez said, okay, if you're going to stand there and watch, then I'm going to head to second.
Everybody's kind of standing around here to see if he was out or safe. And
he got his hand there before he, not definitive enough, and the umpire's pointing, and I guess they're going to take a look at it.
So that is Sam Holbrook, the umpire at second base. There you see the left hand, but you also see Lowry getting the tag on him.
Yeah.
A's players are starting to kind of trickle back out onto the field, but they are going to look at it. So the umpires will take a look at it down the third base line a little ways.
And you know, Sanchez is praying, please.
Well, yeah,
call me
it's
safe.
really not that smart of a play. If you're going to go, you need to make it without a review.
Well, it'd be called safe and have the A's review it. They'll show it on their jumbotron. Jed Lowry had the ball in front. If he just got any part of the glove on the elbow, and is it definitive enough to overturn? Or Sam Holbrook? See the crew chief?
Yeah. Well, with the looks we've had, it's tough to tell.
Yeah. Which all the more reason the definitive part. Well, Jarrell Cotton is going to continue to throw, at least keep warming up.
Joe McEwing looks like he's the acting manager now. He's out talking to Jim Wolf near the dugout. So there's about 7 meetings going on right now.
Sam Holbrook must have thought he had tagged him someplace on the arm before the hand got in. He kind of pulled the right hand back. Watch the right hand come back out of the way and brings the left in.
I don't know. I don't see anything that would make you change the out call. But
no, it's not definitive.
Unless there's a different look somewhere. And he's out. So the call stands. So that's a bad base running play by Sanchez, and he's going to pay for it. So it's 3-0 as we head to the top of the 6th inning. A's lead. Now for the unlimited baseball break, brought to you by T-Mobile. This is some of the things that are going on around Major League Baseball. Big night in Boston. The Red Sox retiring David Ortiz, number 34, in a pregame ceremony. Talk more about that in a moment. And After opting out of a minor league deal with the Angels, Doug Fister signs with the Red Sox, and in the National League West tonight, the Rockies and the Dodgers will square off in Los Angeles. So that should be a heck of a series.
Fister was let go by the Angels. He'll be starting for the Red Sox against the Angels on Sunday. That will be at Fenway.
So Chris Beck back out there. He got the final out, and this is Adam Rosales, who's hitting for Pinder.
Or if the ball came up on his hand.
Oh, these are going to have a new shortstop. It'll be Adam Rosales. So we'll let you know if there's any report on Chad Pinder. Oh, 1 to, what was he? Lines one to center. Angles right there, and he makes the catch. So 1 away. And that'll bring up Bruce Maxwell.
Well, Adam Rosales has to be happy because he's got a lot of people in Chicago, grew up in Chicago, so he had 35 people in Cleveland, where Cali's from.
He's a popular guy.
He's very popular.
So we're going to have a pitching change. Beck is done. He faces 2 hitters, retires in both. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change tune-up and repair experts. White Sox, and lefty and lefty. This is that play again that ended the half inning. Remember, Pinder is now out of the game. Rosales is at shortstop. And we don't know if Pinder hurt himself on this play, or maybe Bob Melvin just didn't like what he saw of the effort of Pinder after he missed the ground ball. We don't know if it's one of those, neither of those, either of those. We don't know, but the point is Pinder is not in the game anymore. Rosales is in.
And unless you're hurt, which it didn't look like, you get the ball quickly and look around, because I mean, it worked out okay. Ended up getting you out at second, but it could have been tough. And you know, it's all about learning, and if that is the case, it'll never happen again.
Dan Jennings comes in. He's the lone lefty in this White Sox bullpen. New shortstop. That's Alan Hansen, who comes into the game. Sanchez slides over to shortstop. So Alan Hansen is the second baseman. Yolmer shortstop. Yolmer Sanchez is now the shortstop.
Jennings basically 2 pitches, fastball, slider. You mentioned coming out of the bullpen, he doesn't need much more than that, especially if he's a specialist.
Right to Sanchez. He backhand, straightens up, throws across. So Maxwell hit that ball hard, but that's the second out. And that'll bring up Brugman.
You know, Ken, one thing when we were in St. Petersburg, it was the Thursday off night. The Rays and the White Sox were playing something I'd never seen before, and manager Rick Renteria has been ejected in this game. basically called a huddle in the dugout and just looked like he ripped apart his team. Like, you guys are better. Something happened, but everybody gathered around, and he was very animated in his discussion, in his one-way discussion too, by the way, with his team. And they almost came back to beat the Rays, but did not. But he was not going to wait till the end of the game and have a meeting. He had it on the bench. And I think with Renteria and now the skipper Bob Melvin, you got younger players, and you just have to appreciate the fact that you're in the big leagues, but you have to play like you're a big league.
One and one the count to Jacob Bergman, who has walked and hit a fly ball to right field. Big shift on in the outfield as White Sox playing Bergman to hit the ball to left field. Look at the gap in right center.
And you look at the lineup for the Athletics: Maxwell 8th, Bergman 9th, back to top with Joyce and Olson, lefties. And then you have a switch hitter in Lowry. So 4 consecutive natural left-handers, then a switch hitter in Lowry.
3-1. Bergman takes a pitch close, a little bit outside, and it's a 2-out walk. So Pelfrey walked 5 in the start. So that is the 6th walk the A's have received, and it's only the 6th inning.
To this point, only 1 has scored, and of course that's good for the White Sox. However, when Jed Lowry walked on 4 pitches in the first inning, Chris Davis hit the first pitch for a 2-run home run. So while only 1 of the previous 5 had scored, that one was a big one. Got KD to the plate with the first pitch home run.
Joyce bounces it foul. Joyce strikeout, pop out, and a home run. His home run came in the 5th inning, and it was his 9th of the year. Infield slid over on the left side. And that one's not close. Have had 10 base runners so far tonight. To second where Alan Hansen has it. Side retired. So the A's get a walk, nothing else. We're headed to the bottom of the 6th. It'll be Smith, Engel, and Cabrera. 3-0 A's.
early 2000s, Saturday, July the 1st. That's a week from tomorrow. The team will wear black jerseys from the era, and 15,000 fans will receive. This is a great bobblehead, by the way. It's a dual bobblehead of Miguel Tejada and Barry Zito, presented by New Era Caps. For tickets to this game, get them right now. It's against the Braves. Visit athletics.com/promotions. Man, we've seen a lot of bobbleheads. That's a good one, just like that jersey from the 70s. How about that, Kite? Look at that jersey.
I like it. So there's Adam Rosales, who stays in the game at short. Jarrell Cotton back to work. He's allowed just 2 hits so far, and has a 3-0 lead as he faces Kevin Smith. First pitch is a strike. Smith grounded out to third. Fastball runs inside. 63 pitches for Jarrell Cotton. Pitch count's in pretty good shape. Anna Mengel will be next, and then the top of the order, Melky Cabrera. Base hit left field. Well, Smith hits it hard.
Well, Miguel Tejada, a great player for the Athletics, shortstop in 2002 when the A's won 20 consecutive games. How about this one? Base hit up the middle with 5 infielders against Kansas City. He had hit a walk-off home run the previous game. That was number 19. Consecutive wins. There's the home run off everyday Eddie Guardado. So the A's just kept doing it. 19 consecutive wins at that point, both with walk-offs by Miguel Tejada in 18 and 19, and then of course Scott Henneberg, a walk-off in number 20. Hard to believe. And they made a movie about it.
Yes, they did. A very popular movie.
Yeah.
Never get sick of seeing those highlights, though.
I know, that was fun.
With a stretch like that.
And it's nice that when the A's are trailing late in the game, they use those highlights. Uh-oh, something happened. This Maxwell out. Trainer Jeff Collins along with the skipper.
So let's watch his last pitch to see if.
I wonder if something with his finger. I think he's looking at his finger. This was yeah, I think it's his finger, okay, because then he hangs this one, or if this is one.
Well, sometimes when they see him looking at their fingers, you think it could be a blister.
Yeah.
So when we find out exactly what it is, we will let you know. So Jarrell Cotton, after 5+ innings, he is coming out with an injury of some sort. So when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and repair experts.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
So Liam Hendricks is the new pitcher for Bob Melvin. He's leading 3-0, but the concern now is with Jarrell Cotton. Cotton had to leave the game. So Hendricks, 32nd appearance, 3-1, 4.26 ERA, 42 strikeouts in 31 innings for Liam Hendricks. Now we think we may know why Jarrell Cotton had to leave the game. We've had a good close-up shot. Look at his thumb, and you can see the skin, and you can see a little bit of blood there. So that may be where the blister is, and usually you see a blister on maybe your index finger or your middle finger, but occasionally you'll see it on the thumb, and that's where it was with Cotton. So it's too bad because he was pitching extremely well and just 66 pitches.
Yeah, that is too bad to be pitching as well as he was and did throughout the game. Took advantage of an early 2-0 lead before he took them out. He's added one more. But, you know, Cap, one thing that I think Matt Chapman learned when he got hit on the wrist and tried to play through it. And of course now he's on the disabled list with a knee injury. But you just have to wonder, is Jarrell Cotton, you see how well he pitched through the first 5 innings, and he did an exceptional job. Really just had a hit in the second, a hit in the 5th. Nice double play turn by Pinder and Lowry. Great curveball to Engel, the 9th place hitter. But the question, and you know, pitchers usually, or at least pitchers are mostly the ones that have the blisters, but in the case where Cotton's was, if he had alerted them, if something had happened before, you know, maybe could have been treated without it breaking open. But now, the problem with that, how long does it take, you know, for him to come back? Let's hope sooner than later.
So here's Hendricks, and he's going to face Adam Engel. Runner at first, nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Cotton was pitching extremely well, so the White Sox, they're probably happy to see him out.
And for the A's bullpen, this being the 6th, they need 9 outs. Try to get a victory. Count is 1-0.
Engel struck out looking in the 3rd inning. Pitch is low. Melky Cabrera would be next, so this is a big guy to get, because then you get to the top of the order and it's Cabrera, Abreu, and Garcia.
Ooh,
fouled at the plate.
Right hand of Jim Wolf. Right through Bruce Maxwell. Got Jim Wolf with the right hand. Check the right arm. He comes up and the ball comes back. Got him the right shoulder. I'm sorry. He brought the elbow back. But he got him the shoulder. They do wear shoulder pads, which is good.
So 2-1 the count. Infield defense straight up for Engel. Brugman in center is slid over toward right center just a little bit. Swing and a miss, 95, and that ball was past Engel.
Well, you're right. Look at the hands, and again, how quickly does it get them in a hitting position? And I think he's a little tardy.
No question.
Yeah, he's a little bit late, and you almost need to start the hands back already in the load position, because he's trying to go high and then load up, and his timing's way off, at least so far.
Keep throwing that. So 3-2 to Adam Engel. The White Sox for a handful of years had Adam Eaton in center field. Of course, Eaton traded in the offseason to the Washington Nationals. Fouled at the plate. Chris Sale traded. White Sox got a pretty good haul of minor leaguers. Now, none of the guys that they got in the Chris Sale trade or the Adam Eaton trade are in the big leagues, but they're all very, very close. So you will start to see the fruits of those trades very soon, probably the second half of this year. That one's hit to center. Brugman backs up. Brugman makes the catch. And go put a charge into it. And that's out number one.
Well, given that setup, you question whether he could pull a ball at 3-2. You figure you want to pull because you have the shortest distance, but sounded great off the bat. Looked like it's going to travel, but actually an easy play for Brugman. Got the ball back in quickly. Lowry out as a cutoff man.
So now the top of the order, Melky Cabrera. Ground out, fly ball for Cabrera. Or the White Sox in spring training released Brett Lawrie, and I don't think he signed with anybody.
No, I think he was hurt. He wanted to get completely well before he came back, but I don't think he has. Well, I know he hasn't. I think he's just been out there just waiting and doing a lot of tweeting.
Good pitch right on the outside corner, and it's a quick 0-2 to Cabrera. Line foul, a high fastball. Chris Sale going to the Red Sox. White Sox got a deal they couldn't pass up. So they got Yohan Moncada, the young infielder, who was in AAA. And Michael Kopech, a right-hander, who throws 100 miles an hour, we're told.
Have to wonder too, by the time the trading deadline, which is July the 31st, and what will happen with Todd Frazier and Quintana.
Yep.
And maybe even Cabrera.
Sure.
Who knows?
Cabrera chases a high fastball.
And I say that simply because you got veterans on a ball club that looks like it's going young. And this fastball just thrown by as Cabrera went out of the strike zone. And if you want to win and you're on a ball club as a veteran and you're with a bunch of young kids, it might take a couple, 2 or 3 years to develop into a successful team. You might be looking towards the end of your career to go someplace where you can have success and be on a winner. I think what we talked about with the Astros, where they had a good group of young players, but then they added the veterans
at the right time.
At the right time. Now, when you have a team like the White Sox that's going young with veterans, it's really counterproductive for them to be on the club. You want them to get good and then bring the kids in, or the veterans in.
Yep.
The Astros have done it correctly, done the right job, and A's are trying to pattern themselves after the Astros and maybe even the Indians back in the 90s when they had a very good club going into their new stadium, Jacobs Field.
High fastball chased by Abreu, and it's 0-2. Abreu has hit a fly ball to right field, and he has popped out to first. Two pitches, line foul fastball running in on Abreu. Well, the A's will need 12 outs from their bullpen tonight. And a swing and a miss. Abreu chases a ball that's in the dirt. So Liam Hendriks comes in and he does the job, and we're headed to the 7th inning. Olson to lead it off. Well, you can now stream the A's on the go with NBCSportsCalifornia.com and the NBC Sports app presented by your Northern California Honda dealers. More beautiful shots of downtown Chicago. 3-0 the A's lead. It's the top of the 7th inning. It'll be Olson, Lowry, and Davis. Dan Jennings, the left-hander, stays in the game. The first pitch to Olson swings over top. Olson 0 for 3. Big night in Seattle tonight. The Astros and the Mariners opening up a 3-game series at Safeco Field. The Astros have won 4 in a row. The Mariners have won 5 in a row. And tonight, Felix Hernandez is back. So Felix pitching on a Friday night at Safeco, that's always a pretty big deal. But Felix Hernandez has been out since the 26th of April. So the Mariners, who have been playing extremely well, have to be thrilled to get him back.
They have to be thinking also, of course, playing the Astros, but got to be thinking wild card. You have to. I mean,
I think they're thinking they just want to get to the postseason anyhow.
Any way they can.
Shot.
Exactly. And maybe playing the Astros, a team that will run away with it, but still saying the Astros a pretty good club, good group of veterans that can make sure that they don't get too complacent after having a huge lead and maybe clinching early. I think the Astros very adamant about trying to go deep in the postseason. Some have them playing the Dodgers in the World Series.
That's Anthony Swarzak warming up in the White Sox bullpen. In that game, Jose Altuve hit a solo home run in the top of the first against Felix Hernandez, so it's 1-0 very early. Olson grounds it right to Abreu, who scoops it up, trots to the bag.
Now, how are they looking at Jed Lowry? They want to have him bat right-handed against the left-hander, probably so, and then Swarzak comes in to face Chris Davis. The old situational pitching. God, there's one guy that we've mentioned several of the veterans, but reminded of David Robertson, a young man, a closer who's been talked about trading, or at least clubs interested in him. He of the great cut fastball. I guess if you're around Mariano Rivera, you better learn the cutter, which he has.
Lowry swings over top. So we're being told Chad Pinder has a left hamstring strain, and Cotton has that blister on his right thumb, which is what we showed you. So left hamstring strain for Pinder.
When did he hurt it?
I don't know.
Left hamstring strain.
Maybe going after that ground ball. That's possible.
Maybe that's why he didn't move. It didn't go after it. Maybe he couldn't. But he did once Jed Lowry let him know.
One and two the count to Lowry. Lowry walked and scored in the first, struck out in the third, grounded out in the fifth. To the backstop, skips out of the way. Lowry skips out of the way.
I've never seen a catcher give a sign that says make him dance.
Make me dance.
Smith, the catcher. Fastball, he wanted it up. I guess Jennings decided he wanted it down.
Two pitch, got him swinging. Kept the fastball away at 93 miles an hour. So 2 outs here in the 7th inning.
Just a good fastball outside part of the plate. So I said about Swarzak, but Alonso is behind KD, Chris Davis. You know what, Kai? This kid's done a great job. Jennings, good left-handed pitcher. 2 pitches, fastball, slider. Just proved he can get a right-hander out.
I agree.
You know, we talk about how quickly the game goes for 6 innings when the starters are in there, and how it slows down when you end up using about 12 out of the bullpen.
Too many pitching changes.
Oof. And I think it'd be great for a pitcher to have the confidence. Hey, he's going to lead me in to face a lefty or righty, vice versa, and just build a lot of confidence and maybe be able to use the pitcher at different stages of the season. In this case, facing a very good right-handed hitter, Chris Davis, who's already homered in the game, but he did it against a right-hander. So maybe the matchups, the splits as they call them, are reversed to the point that maybe he doesn't do as well against lefties.
And that one just a little bit outside.
Before Jarrell Cotton took the mound, this first pitch fastball after 4 pitches. This Lowry threw it to Jed Lowry. Chris Davis got a first pitch fastball straight away center field with still daylight, and up in the shrubs in center field, the batter's eye.
Davis had a good swing, 82 miles an hour, so something off speed from Dan Jennings.
He throws a slider, about it. Fastball, 4-seam, slider. And that is it. And Smith, who's catcher, wanted it inside, kind of left it out a little bit.
And it's a fastball just a little bit high.
Oh, I hope he walks him, because that will be 7 walks, all with 2 outs.
All with 2 outs. Every one of the White Sox walks have come with 2 outs. There's Matson getting loose.
Well, it's a bullpen by committee to try to get the final 6 outs now.
And a fastball outside corner. Strike 3 called. Davis can't believe it. So a couple of strikeouts in the inning for Dan Jennings. 7th inning stretch from Chicago. 3-0 A's.
On NBC Sports California is brought to you by 21st Amendment. Enjoy a pint of Blood Orange Brew free at the San Francisco Pub or the new San Leandro Brewery and Tap Room.
3-0. The A's leading the White Sox, bottom of the 7th inning. Here's tonight's Cold Hard Facts, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. It has to do with Viciel Garcia, highest swing percentage in the major leagues. So Garcia swings at 59.5% of the pitches he sees. Get up there and let it rip.
Oh, grip it and rip it.
And he does. Leading the American League in hitting. So the new pitcher for the A's is Ryan Matson.
Well, it's a matter of matchups now. And of course, with Hendricks pitching the 6th inning, getting a fly ball and 2 strikeouts. Now Ryan Matson, the 7th.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. So 31st appearance. Matson done a good job this year. Hendricks did a good job. And there's a line drive into left field and a base hit. So first hit for Garcia in the ball game.
Hanging curveball. But it's the tough thing about this game, and is this curveball stayed right in the inner part of the plate. Tough part is that in this game, Jharel Cotton pitching so effectively, and it looked like that he was going to have the ability to continue even through the third time in the batting order. But he's out. Relievers come in, and even though it's a matchups of the relievers, still this is a pretty potent lineup.
So here's Todd Frazier. He's the cleanup hitter. Strikeout and a ground out. Frazier hitting just .208, but he's got the 12 home runs. Hit hard to Healy. He's got it. Out at second. Lowry to first. Double play. 5-4-3 on the double play. Nicely done by the Athletics. 2 outs.
Well, that is big, especially with a power hitter. It's one swing on the back can make it a 1-run game. Instead, he hit it hard, but to Ryan Healy, who starts the 5-4-3. First of all, you make the catch. Second of all, you make a great throw. That part accomplished by Ryan Healy. Catch it, throw it to Jed Lowry, who comes across the bag and completes the double play, and that's tailor-made. That's perfect.
So 2 outs, nobody aboard for Matt Davidson. First pitch curveball, strike to Davidson, who has singled and struck out. Swing, and Madsen is ahead in the count 0-2. Red Sox beat the Angels 9-4 on a big night at Fenway, with David Ortiz jersey number being retired.
Standing room only, probably, with
the
Big Papi out, and so Albert Pujols being interviewed about him.
Davidson has his second hit, hits it hard, gets it through. So Davidson with the 2-out single.
Not much Adam Rosales could do. You could see the space between Rosales and the bag and still went after it. And Adam always says, I'm going to get my uniform dirty. They did. So the double play turned by the Athletics at this point very, very big, because it's now 2 outs with the runner at first. And
first look at Alan Hansen. Tim Anderson, the shortstop, was thrown out of the game, so here's why Hansen is in here. And he goes after the first pitch, pops it up right to Joyce in left field. Joyce has it, side retired. So a hit, nothing else. 8th inning coming up. A's hanging on to a 3-0 lead.
Have you made your plans to celebrate the greatest of all time? That is Rickey Henderson. On July the 15th, the A's will honor Rickey in a memorial memorable pregame ceremony, and 20,000 Rickey Henderson Oakland A's jersey driven by Chevrolet will be given away. Don't miss out on this special night versus the Indians. Tickets start at $15. Be a part of history at athletics.com/GOAT. That's called greatest of all time. That's GOAT for greatest of all time. Athletics.com/GOAT. I never knew that's what it meant until. No, not just now. No, it's when Kendall Graveman talked to Greg Maddux. He said, I just talked to the GOAT. I'm like, what do you mean GOAT? He's not the GOAT. He said, yeah, greatest of all time.
Yeah, all right.
So, learn something every day.
It's like TBT, Throwback Thursday. Did you know that?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Stay with me, Raymond.
Wow. Wow.
Raymond Earl Fossey, you stay with me. Swarzak coming in. Tomorrow at 7:30 on NBC Sports California as the Quakes host Real Salt Lake at beautiful Avaya Stadium in San Jose. The home of the authentic Earthquakes fan is NBC Sports California. Check out the Quakes. Beautiful new stadium. Fans will be into it. Chris Wondolowski. Danville guy.
Yeah. What was our initials that you said? T, throw back, B.
TBT, Throwback Thursday.
And this is throwback Anthony Swarzak, who is a fastball slider pitcher as well as Dan Jennings, except he throws from the right side.
Facing Healy. Good slider from Swarzak. Swarzak 3-2. ERA right at 3. And he is the fourth pitcher of the game. So 2-1 the count. One away here in the top of the 8th inning. It's David Holmberg. So I made the mistake of saying that Jennings was the only lefty. Holmberg,
well, he's been in the rotation
and starting some games for them. Grounded up the middle into center field, and Healy has a base hit, so he's going to feel good about that.
Well, Holmberg's got to be up because of Belford just going 4 2/3 innings, throwing 106 pitches. Slider went out and got it, put it right back up the middle. That's exactly what you want to do, is hit it up the middle or to center to right field. He does center field. And you're right, it will feel good.
So 1 out hit. And for the A's, that's 5 hits. Each team now with 5 hits. First pitch to Adam Rosales in first strike. Rosales pinch hit for Pinder in the 6th inning and line to center field. Pinder with tight hamstring. And Sean Doolittle out in the A's bullpen. A's bullpen is in right center field. White Sox bullpen is down the left field line.
You know what, Kite? Just thinking about Pinder. What if he hurt himself when Lowry said Sanchez is coming? He went after the ball,
quick start,
and pushed off his left leg. I just wonder if it happened then, because it seemed like when he went up the middle to field the ball,
he was fine.
Yeah, it seemed like he was fine.
It's that quick twitch movement. That's where sometimes you get hurt. 2-1 the count.
Find out.
Maxwell waiting.
Well, this is up the middle. See if anything happens here. Ball's off his glove. Looks like he's okay there. And see if he takes off. Something happened during that period of time. I don't know. It's a left hamstring, and unless there was another play that maybe just gradually got worse, and that was the end of it. But it just didn't seem that anything happened, especially when he's trying to field. Again, we will find out. That would be later.
Three and 1 now to Adam Rosales. Pitchers duel at Yankee Stadium tonight. The Rangers and the Yankees are scoreless after 7. It's Darvish and Tanaka.
Tanaka pitched the game on Friday night when the A's were in New York, went 7 shutout innings. A's scored in the top of the 8th.
So that's quite a battle going on.
How many media from Japan do you think are there?
Man. We're gonna have a lot to talk about with that matchup.
Yankee Stadium, you get a lot of people there anyway. Now you add 2 Japanese-born pitchers going head-to-head. All those that travel with the Rangers and Yankees.
Busy night. So 3 and 2. Healy the runner at first. Gonzalez swings and misses, strikes out. So the A's have now struck out 7 times tonight.
Well, they challenged him, and he is just a fastball slider pitcher. Fastball at 94 right in the middle of the plate, and says a lot about sometimes you challenge hitters with a fastball, come out on top. That time he did.
Maxwell's got a single, a walk, and a ground out. So he's been on base a couple of times. Blocked nicely by Smith. Pelfrey went 4 2/3. Beck 2/3 of an inning, and Jennings 2 good innings.
Now the breaking ball, you can see how well it was blocked by Smith. Turn the glove the proper way, turn the palm up, get it down on the ground, and use your body to block the ball.
That one right there, 1 and 2 the count. Infield slid over, especially on the left side. But look at the outfield. They're playing Maxwell. They hit it to left center field.
So he should be getting fastballs. And how about outside with the fastball?
Right at the knee, strike 3 call. Good pitch there by Swarzak. Side retired, A-strand runner. Bottom of the 8th inning coming up. It'll be Sanchez, Smith, and Engel. Game summary is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 3-5-0 for the A's, 0-5-0 for the White Sox. So the A's pitching staff been terrific tonight. Cotton went 5+ innings. Unfortunately, he left with a blister on his thumb. Chris Davis in the very first inning, a 2-run homer. Matt Joyce a solo shot in the 5th. That's how the A's got their runs. So it's the bottom of the 8th inning, and we got a new pitcher, and it's the lefty Sean Doolittle comes in. So he takes over for Matson. Matson just one inning, gives up a couple hits, got the big double play ball. So Doolittle here in the bottom of the 8th. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Ray, but Doolittle did not pitch in that Astros series.
I think you're right.
So he will be fresh as he faces Yolmer Sanchez, who's a switch hitter. First pitch is a strike.
And you know why he didn't pitch? Because the A's were out of every game. And actually, Josh Smith was the savior. He pitched like 5 of 7 games.
So a quick 0-2 to Sanchez. And on 3 pitches, that's a no chance fastball. Sanchez swings and misses. So he climbed the ladder a little bit more each time.
Well, that's the way Sean Doolittle and the success he has doing this, and you just go up, up, and up. It looks so easy to hit, such a good fastball to hit, and you realize it is an NC, no chance. And it's one of those that you think you have a chance, but you don't.
So 1 away for Kevin Smith, the catcher. Backhanded by Lowry, flips to first, 2 outs.
See that pitch? That's when Sean Doolittle gets hit, because the pitch is down. All the hitters just drop the head of the bat. Fastball up, can't catch up to it, as was the case with Smith. Pitch, watch what he does. He goes straight down. Doesn't do anything with it, but the pitch it's up, so Sanchez had no chance to even come close to it. And this should be an interesting at bat with Engel, the way he has his bat up high and then trying to get through and into the hitting zone with a fastball. The only way it will help him is if he has a pretty good idea that Doolittle's going to throw fastballs and loads up a little quicker.
He's late there, yeah. And it's 0-1.
Yeah, and it's one thing if you start there and you load up almost even before the pitcher starts, but if you wait any split second.
And now it's 0-2, yeah. And you might as well just keep throwing.
Exactly.
I don't think Engel's going to catch up.
I don't either, especially.
He may if it's down.
Exactly, because just like Smith, just drop the head of the bat.
Here's Santiago Casilla starting to throw. Stayed upstairs. That time Engel just got a piece of it.
Well, a little bit away. It's so hard it went all the way out in the playing field. See if he gives a fastball up. Yep, there's a location. Then just go up a little bit late now.
And no chance. So good inning for Doolittle. Couple of strikeouts. And we're going to the 9th. The A's are leading the White Sox 3-0.
of the game. There's two of them. Big one in the first inning, and that was Katie. Chris Davis, number 19, straightaway center field after the Jed Lowry 4-pitch walk into the ivy in center field. Chris Davis got the A's on the board, and a 3-2 fastball tailing away from Matt Joyce into the right center field bleachers. Pelfrey didn't like it. Gave up 3, threw 106 pitches, 4 2/3 innings. And Matt Joyce will be second up behind Brugman. So acting manager Joe McEwen going again to the lefty, Brian Holberg, who, when did he start, Kipe? Just recently?
On Wednesday.
Wednesday. This is Friday, so maybe his throw day. And
77 pitches on Wednesday in that series against the Twins. So out of the bullpen now for David Holmberg. Holmberg was originally a Chicago White Sox and then was traded to Arizona. Traded from Arizona to Cincinnati, and that is when he got to the big leagues with the Reds in 2014 and 15. He did make one start for Arizona in 2013, so he's had a little bit of time in the big leagues. Three and one the count to Jacob Brugman. Brugman hits it hard. Nice play by Hansen. Hansen throws out Brugman. So a very nice play. Game 2 is tomorrow. It'll be Daniel Gossett and James Shields. Our coverage begins at 10:30 a.m. with A's pregame live. And remember, you can now stream the A's on the go with NBCSportsCalifornia.com and the NBC Sports app. So first pitch is a little bit later tomorrow, as they're expecting big turnout tomorrow, and it's the pregame ceremonies honoring Mark Burley, who will have his number retired. So it'll be a busy day here at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago. That's the name of the ballpark now. It's not U.S. Cellular Field anymore.
Okay, as far as I'm concerned, it's Comiskey.
Comiskey Park.
Comiskey Park.
We like to call it Comiskey Park. So Mark Burley is going to enjoy himself tomorrow, as he should. And maybe in honor of Mark Burley, tomorrow's game will be 2 hours and 20 minutes.
That's perfect. Someone said his speech may be longer than the time he takes to pitch. Took to pitch.
So Matt Joyce is retired on an easy ground ball. Well deserved. Mark Burley was terrific. What a career that he had, with probably never threw more than 90 miles an hour.
No, he didn't. And perfect game and a no-hitter.
Moved it in, moved it out. Was not afraid to let the hitter make contact. What a beautiful thing. Huh?
Just think, there have been some great games, that the fireworks games, that starters like that. Blanton was fast. Boulder was fast.
They knew how to do it.
They just Burley. I mean, if it was a Burley and any one of those guys, if you wanted the fireworks, you're going to wait an hour before it gets dark.
Just don't overthink. Just get it and throw it.
Well, that's it. And really, the old theory about someone who pitches quickly is get them to slow down. Well, you step out, but I mean, if you're doing that, you've got them hooked anyway. Because if you're doing all those things to slow down a pitcher, 2005 World Championship. You understand Hawk Harrelson's going to be the master of ceremonies.
What a play by Hansen. That was a knuckleball. He had a backhanded, and he throws out Olsen. So a couple of nice defensive plays by Alan Hansen. Ninth inning coming up.
A's Baseball on NBC Sports California is brought to you by the 2017 Jeep Cherokee with an EPA estimated 30 highway miles per gallon. By Southwest, yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. By AAA, what does your insurance do when it's not doing insurance? It should do more. Go to AAA.com for more details. And by the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica.
The White Sox fans, over 25,000 tonight, are making some noise. They have not had a whole lot to cheer about tonight. He's with a 3-0 lead. Santiago Casilla trying to finish it off. He's going to have to face the top of this White Sox order. So Casilla, 11 saves, 3 blown saves, and a 4.26 ERA. Cabrera taken all the way, takes a strike. Cabrera is 0 for 3. He has grounded out, flied out, and struck out. Jarrell Cotton 3 outs away from his 5th win of the year, although he's probably a little disappointed that had it come out due to a blister.
Well, disappointing also the fact starters like to go deep enough that you don't need to use as many relievers.
And that one is looped into center field, and that's a base hit. Melky Cabrera just kind of reached out. Looked like he may have hit it off the end of the bat. Well, you don't want to see the tying run come up. There's a lot of power coming up here in this White Sox lineup. Starting with Jose Abreu. Garcia will be next. After Garcia, Frazier. Abreu is 0 for 3. His pitch is low. A's have turned a couple of double plays tonight, where they could use number 3 right here. A little bit inside. Base hit left field. A smash in the hole between short and third.
That's why you fall behind and you throw a fastball. That's what can happen.
That may have been the hardest hit ball tonight,
yeah,
Greg.
Exactly. And it's a fastball. It's center cut and it's crushed. And fortunately, you can say it's on the ground. It would have been nice to have been one right at somebody.
So here is Avisail Garcia.
You're right, Kat. Looking at Abreu in his face.
No question.
Much lighter.
No question. He looks like he lost 20 pounds. So the crowd making some noise now. And one thing about this ballpark, Ray, it can get very loud in here. And here's Garcia. He's 1 for 3. Garcia had a base hit back in the 7th inning. First pitch is away. Don't forget that Garcia made a sensational play in the 5th inning in the right field corner, taking a double, at least a double away from Healy, and 2 runs.
That's the biggest thing. It's 5-0 at the time. It's now 3-0 and tying run at the plate. Home run hitters coming up.
And he hits this one in the air to right field, but playable. Olsen makes the catch, and Cabrera bluffs, but he'll stay. So Garcia. Don't know that that was a strike.
Yep.
It was
cutter.
Not a great pitch to hit. Yeah, it was moving away from him just a little bit. So Garcia made a good pitch. Well, stay tuned for A's Post-Game Live presented by State Farm. That's coming up hopefully in just a matter of moments. Mindy, Bip, and Jersey Joe Stiglitz standing by.
Nice one to cut fastball, doing a 2-0 count where the difference in Abreu, he got a fastball four-seam. It's a base hit. Garcia got a cutter, and you know, if you can recognize it, don't swing at it, but he did, fortunately.
Be careful here. Frazier's got a ton of power.
That was what it said, hit me all over it.
On deck is Matt Davidson, who has 17 home runs. Little pop-up. Alonso hustling back, and Alonso dropped it. He throws to second, and the A's get the out there.
Wow. What a break. Great recovery by Alonso. And that is simply go as a 3 to what? 4 put out. Abreu really halfway off second base, but the ball stayed close enough. Quick feed, and a great play with Alonso. Kicked off his glove, fortunately close enough. He came up and just fired to second base, and nice stretch by Jed Lowry. That was a huge play. That's bases loaded.
And you really can't blame Abreu. He didn't really do anything wrong.
No.
I mean, that's a tough spot, because what if Alonso catches it? You may get picked off first.
That's right. In the game.
So it's really a tough spot for a base runner. So 2 outs. Here's Matt Davidson. First pitch in there for a strike. Davidson got a couple hits. He's 2 for 3. He singled in the second, and he singled in the 7th. And he chased a pitch down and away, and now Garcia will try to finish him off. The count is 0-2.
And let's hope with the same pitch, because he did not have a chance on this one. He's going for the Palacaya out of here, and it just couldn't reach it. Fastball away. Fortunately, shook off the fastball in.
And it just misses down and away. Center field. Brugman near the wall, and he makes the catch. Side retired, and the ball game is over. So a scare off the crack of the bat, no question about it. But then as the ball went up, you could see Brugman was going to have enough room, and it was off the end of the bat.
Fortunately,
just a little bit.
Fortunately, off the end of the bat. Otherwise, if that's connected, he's got 17. He could have had 18. Could have been a tie game. Instead, Brugman goes back, warning track, and this crowd goes very quiet. So the A's get the shutout.
So Jarrell Cotton gets his 5th win. Casilla gets his 12th save, and the A's get their 2nd shutout of the year. Took 2 hours and 59 minutes. The crowd tonight in Chicago, 25,370. Final score: the A's 3, the White Sox 0. A's Post Game Live presented by State Farm is set to go.